Help support Friendo Club by going to patreon.com/Steven Larson or clicking join at youtube.com/Steven Larson. Access to bonus episodes, question threads for the Going In Raw podcast, and entry to our monthly wrestling predictions challenges. Join the Friendo Club today. Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about night one of the WWE draft on Smackdown. The ups and downs. Well, no, we can't do ups and downs. Our buddy Simon Miller owns that one. We're going to be doing the highs and lows of the draft. How about that? Highs and lows.
Winners
baby.
and losers.
Winners and losers. Loser. We're going to be talking about that. Of course, we're also going to be talking about tonight's draft on WWE Raw. We're going to preview that and give some predictions, perhaps.
Hopefully it's more eventful.
Hopefully, yeah. Also, we have an update on MJF and his injury. But first, oh boy, let's talk about this. Tony Khan shooting himself in the foot, Larson. So, obviously, this past week on Dynamite last week, Tony Khan was hit by the elite, the Young Bucks, with a Tony Khan driver. Used to be known as the Dave Meltzer driver.
The eponymous Tony Khan driver.
Correct, exactly. And so everybody was like, oh man, is Tony Khan going to show up at the NFL draft? Because it's like starting the next day. Is Tony Khan going to be at the NFL draft? Selling it. Is he going to sell the gimmick? So he did. In full neck brace, he was at the draft doing the thing. And he was, of course, making the media rounds during the draft. And he got like a bunch of goodwill. You know, like he was selling the gimmick. Everybody was talking about it. They were all buying into it. It was a very positive moment for pro wrestling.
From a marketing perspective, coordinating that with the draft, knowing that he's going to be on TV a lot, got a lot of interview time.
Yeah.
It was a pretty smart move.
Even like WWE sweaty Pat McAfee and his crew were talking about this. And I thought that was very cool, you know, and a lot of positivity about this because he's bringing the entertainment to the mainstream, the entertainment value of pro wrestling. Then he had to stick his foot in his mouth, Larson. So during an interview with the NFL Network, this is what Tony Khan had to say. He was asked about AEW. He says, AEW, we've been doing this for 5 years. We are the most successful sports startup since the AFL pre-merger. There has not been a challenger brand that has gained as much market share as AEW in many, many years. We are like the Pepsi of pro wrestling. Now, I'm going to pause there really quick because I think we all kind of saw where this was going. He would then maybe refer to WWE as the Coke.
The idea they're the upstart disruptor brand, if you will.
Right, exactly. So he continues on. He says, we're like the Pepsi of pro wrestling. We're up against an evil juggernaut. WWE is our competitor. That's who we're facing. AEW, like the Pepsi of pro wrestling. WWE is like the Harvey Weinstein of pro wrestling. I'm really proud of what we do down here. The NFL Network guys were thoroughly uncomfortable with that statement, by the way. And, man, I understand what he's getting at. Probably not the time nor the place to make that point because immediately the attention shifted from, oh, man, what a cool thing he's doing. He's selling the angle. He's bringing positive attention to AEW, to his company. That's a good thing. Now he's bringing up Harvey Weinstein. Now I understand, Larson, that WWE is currently being sued. They have a lawsuit against them and Vince McMahon for some Harvey Weinstein-esque behavior. Let's call it like it is.
Yeah.
Was this the time or place or method to take this shot?
I honestly don't know. And as you mentioned, I understand the point he's trying to make here. Tony Khan takes shots at WWE when he has the opportunity to. It's not the first time. He's done it at media scrums. He's done other interviews. Is this the time? I don't know. Maybe he feels like AEW is getting a lot of media attention right now. And now is the time to take a shot. When he's comparing AEW to Pepsi, you expect the Coca-Cola analogy for WWE. Coca-Cola was the institution, cola brand in the United States until upstart disruptor brand Pepsi came through and carved out a massive market share for themselves. That seemingly was the setup here. And then took a left turn there with the Harvey Weinstein reference. You know, in terms of WWE and based on lawsuit, the culture, at least in some parts of the company, that permeated, that allowed Vince McMahon to continue with his horrible behavior. And if Tony Khan was trying to make parallels between that and what happened with Harvey Weinstein and Miramax, I know about the Harvey Weinstein case, but I'm not that familiar with the ins and outs of it. In terms of, you know, as far as all who may have been complicit in allowing that kind of behavior to go on at Miramax, I don't remember. I assume that's the point Tony Khan was trying to make. But, you know, I guess in terms of, was this the right time to make such comment? I guess that's subjective. That's up to everybody to decide on their own. I don't know.
Me personally, I think it was I think that there's a couple problems with it. I think number one, as I mentioned earlier, I think that he sort of had something positive. You know, it's like, hey, you're doing this thing, you're selling it, you're the mainstream, or at least the NFL mainstream audience is like, oh, it's fun, it's pro wrestling, you know, it's a positive thing. It's not like the whole, oh, but it's fake thing. No, he's buying into it, showing why it's entertaining. And then you change the conversation. You pivot from, this is fun, we're doing this, and you pivot to, but there's a dark side of the industry, which you are part of. And he's trying to delineate from AEW and WWE, but I don't feel like he accomplished anything but being petty and being seen that way. And on top of that, I'm sorry, but like using some real life tragedy to try to take a shot at your competitor.
Yeah.
In my opinion, the answer is definitively no. This was not the right time, nor the right place, nor the right context with which to take a shot at your competition.
Yeah, I understand that perspective for sure. Yeah.
And I understand, look, WWE takes shots. We've seen it. We've seen it plenty from them. And they've got no moral ground to stand on at all. But like, if you're Tony Khan, you're trying to uplift your own business. And I don't think that you do that by taking a shot like this on the NFL Network, making them uncomfortable and dissipating immediately that goodwill that you built up. I didn't see like there's always the like those staunch anti AEW, no matter what good they do, they're going to be anti AEW, right?
Yeah.
I didn't even see a whole lot of that. Oh, he's at the draft with the thing. Nope, I didn't see any of that. It was nothing but like, hey, this is cool. This is clever. He did it. He did the thing. Good for him.
Yeah.
And then that turned off immediately and changed the conversation. So from my perspective, in my point of view, and look, we've been critical of AEW, but we were both very effusive about that angle on Dynamite. I loved it. I thought it was great. And I thought as soon as I saw him show up, I thought that was great with the neck brace. That was really cool.
Yeah.
And then he just turns it off like that.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I agree with you in terms of using, you know, real life personal trauma and tragedy in the case of Janelle Grant to take a shot at competition. You know, that's it's not a cool thing to do by any stretch of the imagination. Yeah, I mean, let's move on to this Brian Alvarez quote here from Wrestling Observer Radio about reaction from both within WWE to AEW, and we can get into it some more. These transcripts come to you from Cultaholic. This is what Alvarez had to say. Quote, I talked to people in both companies. I will say this about what Tony Khan, said before, because I know like a lot of fans heard the Harvey Weinstein line, and they were somewhat celebratory, like it was the greatest thing ever. And some of them are like, oh my God, why did he do that? I could tell you from talking to people in AEW, and obviously WWE people thought it was ridiculous, but I heard people in AEW saying the same thing. When people in WWE and people in AEW who have a lot of friends in WWE see Tony Khan accusing the entire company is evil. We are battling an evil company. A lot of people take exception to that. The truth is in the middle. It is not all Vince, and it's certainly not the entire company. So I think that was one of the things that people got very upset about with that comment. And that is another thing of making a broad listen, you just said WWE does not really have a moral leg to stand on, really, um, from a business entity, from a corporate entity. There's obviously executives, even though Vince is gone, who either were complicit or turned the other way when Vince was conducting himself in a horrible fashion. But there's a lot of employees there that had probably no knowledge, had nothing to do with it. And I understand the broad generalization of calling, and I assume when Tony Khan was saying WWE is an evil juggernaut, he's referring to the power structure, the executives, how the business is run, not the talent. You know what I mean? That being said, when he makes a broad generalization like that, people are going to assume he's talking about everybody. And I understand why people would be upset about that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So. Mr. Dope says we talk about fans and tribalism all the time. This guy, he said, this guy Tony, this guy Tony fuels the fuck out of it. And look, we've said this before. The dude comes from the message boards 20 years ago, mm-hmm. and there is definitely an approach that he takes. And I think fueling the tribalism, I don't think he's above that.
No, not at all. No, he stokes those flames quite a bit.
He does. And I don't know. I would imagine there is one philosophy of thought that might consider that a positive. I don't know where I stand on that, to be honest. Some days I'm like, who gives a shit? It's Twitter. What does it matter? There's always going to be that, regardless if you stoke it or not. The other part of me thinks, maybe it does drive people away. Maybe you are whittling away at people who want to be involved in the pro wrestling discourse, but they have to deal with stuff like this in order to buy into it. And so it just sort of drives them away. Anecdotally, we've seen that in our comments, and I'll be honest with you.
Totally.
I don't know. I assume those are people that are not being disingenuous, Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If Tony Khan was more of a Scott D'Amore in his demeanor and approach to the company, I don't think that there would be any negatives to that, And in fact, I wonder if there would be some positives to that.
I kind of wonder too, because I kind of feel like in at least the early days of AEW, and not to say that Tony Khan never stoked the flames of tribalism. That's not what I'm trying to say, but it felt like it wasn't as often until you heard about the contract tampering WWE tried to do. Mm-hmm, and scheduling shows on the same weekends as AEW shows and stuff like that. And I was not saying that to say Tony Khan is justified in doing anything, but it definitely seemed like there was a point where he felt attacked, and when he feels attacked, he lashes out.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
we've seen that.
Yeah.
And it kind of feels like since that moment, things have really kicked up a notch in terms of him attacking WWE in the press.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Because, go back to when Jericho was on Broken Skull Sessions. It seemed like he was amenable to AEW talent being involved in things.
Yeah.
And today, I don't know if that'd be the case.
I think it was the same press conference it was the same press conference as the Brawl Out one, where, he said,
talking about Crockett. Yeah.
I've got a lot more money. I'm not going to take it. I'm not that thing.
Yeah.
And that did seem to be kind of a breaking point for him. I agree. Yeah. And, I know people say, just focus on your stuff. Clearly the guy is able to focus on a great many things at the same time. It's kind of crazy that he's able to, run. And again, I saw like a quote from Meltzer today, I think on Wrestling Observer Radio, and I'm paraphrasing, I don't have it in front of me, but he basically said, this is going to go down one of two ways. Either, and he, it was kind of interesting to get the subtext of what Meltzer considered the stakes of this new TV deal.
Mm.
Either it's going to make him a profitable company or it's not. And the pay-per-views are kind of the pay-per-view buys are kind of the only thing that's really a positive in the company in terms of their business right now.
Yeah.
And if the TV deal goes well and they're profitable, then that's everything. Then people can, he's not just, as they say, a money mark. And so I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens with AEW. If the TV deal doesn't come through, let's say Warner Brothers Discovery's like, we're good. We don't want AEW programming. We're putting everything into like NBA rights or something like that.
Yeah.
what happens with AEW then. We both understand if he wants to keep running this company, it's like a drop in the bucket compared to his actual family's wealth.
Yeah.
But if it's a true startup, and he's like, well, no, I'm going to run it at a loss, and he doesn't want to do that because business people are in a business to make money.
Yeah.
Then what happens?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's a whole other conversation.
It is. And to be fair, it doesn't seem like at this juncture AEW is necessarily in danger of losing their TV deal. I mean, I just saw a thing where even this past week on Wednesday, even though the Dynamite number wasn't great, that given the competition they were up against, Warner Brothers was satisfied with the number.
And I honestly hope they kill it. I really do want, AEW, it's good for our business for them to be in business. It's good for the wrestling business for them to be in business.
1,000%.
So I hope it does all work out. I mean, I would be really sad the day that Triple H is on TV.
I know.
Wardlow thumbs up, Wardlow thumbs down.
Only for like Seth Rollins to swoop in and be like, no, I bought AEW. I said Seth Rollins rather than Shane.
I don't want that to happen again, man. I don't want
exactly.
That to happen.
The more we say this all the time, the more thriving wrestling companies that are out there that offer a place for wrestlers to wrestle and make good money doing it is healthy for the industry. It
is, absolutely, yeah.
And so if for that reason, if nothing else, we want to see AEW succeed.
Oh, 1,000%, absolutely.
Tony Khan, though, just kind of at times needs to focus on how he market the strengths of your company, highlight the strengths of your company, talk up the strengths of your company, and don't rely on taking shots at the competition to build yourself up.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yep. Eddie Zorro here has been a member now of the Friendo Club setup for 11 months. Says, is Kenny going to get beat up or introduce a stable to keep the elite in check in his stead, or is he ready to come back? What's he doing back early? I don't think he knows what he's going to do. Larson.
Well, you heard the thing. He said that he thought maybe he'd show up at the Dynamite. This is what he said on one of his streams. Dynamite at Winnipeg. It was like a maybe. And then the arena advertised it, and so AEW then had to confirm that he would be there.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he got on the phone at one point with Tony Khan or whoever and said, yeah, maybe I'll show up in Winnipeg, and maybe that somehow from the promotions was relayed to the venue. Yeah, we might get an appearance from Kenny Omega. It was advertised, and once you advertise it, you kind of have to do it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like yeah. He even seemed confused about that one.
He did. There's a lot of you listen to some of his quotes or see some of the quotes on his stream, and it's interesting where he's learning stuff like as the show is going on. Like he'll watch Dynamite, he's learning stuff.
It's pretty eye opening. Like to listen to his stream, he is frank. He is transparent as can be. And dude, you'd like to think that there's, hey, this goes the same for WWE, and I have no idea. Like from what I understand, Kiana James, for example, was surprised that she got drafted, which is I think a cool surprise.
Yeah,
when other people back in the day, anyways, and I don't know about this year with under Levesque, but like in past years, tag teams would be split up and they wouldn't know until it happens on TV. They would be surprised too. And I'm like,
yeah,
God, you're really throwing their personal lives completely out of whack by doing this.
I know. You have people who travel together and have to, find someone else to travel with. They have to rearrange travel plans for weeks, maybe months.
You would think that the companies would be a bit more transparent, but evidently in wrestling, that's just maybe how it is. I don't know.
Seems like so much was done by the seat of their pants. That
seemingly. Eddie Zorro here also with the super chat says, also, my roommate is not a wrestling fan. Tony's comments just made her think AEW was complicit with WWE until now, or something along those lines. I mean, it's all the wrestling industry, Yeah. Mr. Dope gifted a membership to the community. Thank you very much, Mr. Dope. Appreciate that.
Thanks, Mr. Dope.
Hidden Network with the super chat also says this made Edge's speech about positivity totally irrelevant.
Yeah, it was a strange sequence of events where he drops that promo. And then the following week or 2 weeks after they released the Punk Jack Perry footage, seemingly just to stick it to CM Punk, although it's worked out pretty well for Jack Perry since then.
It has, yeah.
And then, Tony Khan likes taking his shots.
I mentioned earlier, Eddie Zorro became a Friendo Club member 11 months ago. And you can become a Friendo Club member as well. Of course, we've got Backlash coming up this weekend. Very excited. I think it's this weekend. Is it this weekend? It is
Yeah,
this weekend.
Saturday.
Yeah. And it's part 2 of our latest Week of Champions Predictions Challenge. So, look, if you didn't participate in the AEW Dynasty Predictions Challenge as part of Week of Champions, there's still time to get in on the Backlash portion of it. And yeah, you might be at a disadvantage because you didn't get those points for the Dynasty thing, but it's always a good predictions challenge. You know what? It's just fun. It's just fun to try to prove to people that yours is superior.
If you didn't participate in the Dynasty portion, you want to do Backlash, and you go and you have a heck of a showing during Backlash. This is something to pay attention to for
this
future predictions
guy.
challenges.
Yeah, this guy should be going high in the Going in Raw predictions draft.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sorry, your reaction threw me off a little bit.
We're gonna have people make our picks by proxy.
Who would go number 1? It's got to be Hosey, right? Didn't he? Isn't he a
two-time winner? Yeah,
that's our number 1 pick right there.
Yeah.
All right. So, anyways, yeah, the Friendo Club setup. It's basically our little membership club around these parts. 2 ways to do it. Number 1, patreon.com/Steven Larson. Choose the Friendo Club setup. It's $5 a month. Or right here at YouTube, click join. YouTube.com/Steven Larson. Click join. $5 a month. You get access to the Predictions Challenge. You also get access to our bonus episodes. FriendoCast, are we good to go later on today for FriendoCast?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that completely. I'll get that up.
Awesome. I'll get you a thumbnail. Hopefully that'll be a reminder to you.
I'm sorry. I'll get that up.
No, I mean, you know how I am every single week. It's like, oh, yeah, I got to do FriendoCast now. So we're going to get that up later on today. And then so you get access to our weekly bonus episodes. And then you also get access to the question threads for every episode that we do with our question threads. So check it out. It's Friendo Club set up. 2 ways to do it, Patreon or YouTube. Also, while you're around, hit that subscribe button, hit the notify bell, and hit the like button. All that shit helps Going in Raw grow here on the YouTube algorithm. If you're listening growing in Raw. If you're listening to us in the audio realm, do us a solid. Leave us a rating, review, or a comment. That also helps Growing in Raw.
We got 5 gifted memberships here from the Hall of Famer, Jeffrey Nguyen. Thank you, Jeffrey.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you so much. So anyways, speaking of
talk
AEW,
MJF.
Yeah, let's talk about MJF. So Solomonster of all people. Man, Solomonster's getting the scoops now? Where's our scoops?
I don't know if we should be in the scoop business, Steve.
We got to get some scoops, Larson.
I don't think we should be in the scoop business. The anxiety of making sure your scoops are good, that seems a bit too much for old Larson.
Not if it's like MJF directly, because, look, this is my pure speculation. Kind of feel like MJF just told this to Solomonster, because Solomonster had a very specific update about MJF. So we need, come on, think of one wrestler that'll give us a scoop, man. If you could choose any wrestler within reason, who would it be?
It'd be pretty funny if we could get on the horn with CM Punk.
I don't want that smoke, man. There's too much drama that comes with that.
Too much. All right.
That's way too much.
Champ Fear and Loathing says Jeff Jarrett. How about that?
I mean, I don't know what scoops he's going to give us, man.
I know, but that's the thing. They're scoops. We can say, hey, we got a scoop, but it's pretty mundane. It's not.
Nah, here it is, man. Here it is. Chugs. If Chugs can give us a couple scoops, I'd be pretty happy with that. Anyways, Solomonster got the scoop from MJF's injury situation. He said this on Twitter. So a bit of news. Hearing through the grapevine that it'll be a while yet before we see MJF back in the ring. Physical therapy was not a success, and he had to go under the knife. Not sure of any timetable, but that's obviously a blow to AEW. His presence has been missed. Wrestle Purist subsequently tweeted. Sources close to the situation have confirmed to Wrestle Purist that MJF has undergone surgery on his left shoulder. He was originally aiming for a March return and met with Tony Khan in Boston to discuss creative plans. The injuries to MJF and Adam Cole have dramatically affected creative plans for MJF versus Undisputed Kingdom. Max is looking forward to wrapping up the program. There's no timetable for his return.
What could have been, Steve, if not for injuries with this whole MJF Adam Cole story? They were building it up to kind of be the centerpiece of AEW programming, throughout last summer up until Adam Cole, even after Adam Cole broke his ankle.
Yeah.
They started the devil stuff then. But it's something else that, I mean, I'm sure it's happened, but, in recent history, I can't necessarily think of a time where a story that was obviously going to be the A story for Dynamite for months had to be changed so dramatically due to injuries.
Yeah, man. I know. I agree. It was like a big deal. They had like the devil videos and all that kind of stuff. And then Adam
And before
Cole
the
takes
devil
one.
stuff, which I know a lot of people didn't like, they were doing a good job of getting people invested in the Adam Cole MJF.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
You know, and they were on Collision that one time, popped a good number.
Yeah.
You know, when they were kind of at the heights of their friendship and tag team partnership.
Yeah, right.
You know, and what could have been had Adam Cole not broken his ankle at Grand Slam last year.
You know, yeah, I don't know, man. You gotta, sometimes things happen and you take advantage of, or you try to, you make the best of it, right?
Oh yeah.
I feel like we got a pretty decent Samoa Joe run. It was relatively short, but I thought it was pretty impactful.
Yeah, and now Swerve's champ, which is great. So
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And you know, you pivot and you do what you can, and who's not to say that this Swerve thing is going to go over better than what would have been, you know, in the first place with the MJF Cole stuff. I don't know. Hopefully they'll be able to, and I don't know, you know, in terms of the timing of it, I don't exactly know how they'll be able to pull it off, given that it'll be so much time between. They're going to have to, at some point, they're going to have to really start. If Cole is able to wrestle soon, they're going to really have to start elevating him in the Undisputed Kingdom to some degree. I think I suggested either on one of my Wrestle Juice videos that you maybe like jam the Undisputed Kingdom kicks out Wardlow. You jam them with the New Elite, maybe, you know, because you got the New Elite. They're like the top heel faction in AEW. So it's not like you want Undisputed Kingdom to be playing second fiddle to them, but they're going to have to, kind of by necessity. Maybe you jam the two of them together and they go on an extended, bloated NWO run. And then when MJF does come back, which who knows? I mean, I don't know what the timetable on something like
I mean, it was a
is.
torn labrum, I believe, in the shoulder. You know, shoulders are complex joints. You know, and Finn Balor had, you know, I don't know what the analogy is between MJF's shoulder injury and Finn Balor back in 2016, but he was out, I think, 8 months.
Yeah.
And we don't know exactly when MJF had surgery on his shoulder. You'd guess maybe it was sometime around March. So I thought we had seen something about MJF being in town after the Boston Dynamite. So maybe it was shortly after that. Don't know for sure, but let's assume it's March. He won't probably be back till at best fall.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You would think. So you're talking almost a year.
And it's already been,
Since,
you know,
end of last year. So
Since,
yeah,
like,
it's nearly a year that he'll be out. Yeah.
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 So I guess they'll just sort of figure that out once they get there. But for one, like, Cole's got to be a bad guy by the time MJF does come back. You know, he's got to still be a bad guy.
Yeah.
And then they can revisit it then, I guess, you know. But it's like MJF comes back. You'd think that the first thing he's going to do is target Adam Cole.
You think
and
so?
hopefully they can rekindle that stuff, you know.
Yeah. Hopefully.
It's a much different landscape in AEW right now, though, just
really
in this
is.
short period of time, you know.
It really is. It really is. So talk about new landscapes. Got night one of the WWE draft, and in theory, these drafts could shake things up. New landscapes for Raw and SmackDown, and you know we kind of got a hint of what was to come when Triple H came out to announce the first round of draft picks. When he said the draft is just as much about who you keep as it is who you get.
Yeah.
Because that was kind of overall the theme of the night. It's not a lot of talent switching brands. And in fact, two talents pretty recently, three actually can include Carmella. Well, Carmella's staying on SmackDown, so I guess not. Who had recently signed contracts with brands. Braun and Andrade are switching brands.
Yeah.
Braun signed a deal with SmackDown, I believe. He's going to Raw. Andrade signed a deal with Raw. He's going to SmackDown.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that you have people who would sign these contracts mere months before the draft, and they're already on the move.
I mean, I'll be honest, there's a couple different points of logic that the draft kind of, I don't know, throw out the window. For example, AJ Styles, who's about to challenge Cody Rhodes in France for the title, doesn't get picked up until the 4th round. It's kind of weird. I thought that aside, so here's my thoughts on it. I thought it was awesome that Bianca went first and Carmelo was was the next SmackDown pick. Number one, Raw taking it was hilarious because like in kayfabe, Adam Pearce always wanting a drink kind of played into this because like these are drunk picks, right? Jey Uso went number one. Really?
Here's the thing, and it's a huge if.
It was a terrible draft pool too for SmackDown.
It wasn't great. If Jey Uso beats Damian Priest for the title at Backlash, even if Jey is drafted by SmackDown, he's going to end up on Raw if he wins that match. Mm-hmm, Champs stay on their brand. They already stated that. And in my mind, that's kind of why AJ Styles fell. Mm-hmm. You know, because like Raw is probably thinking, if you think about this from a logical perspective of a team drafting, all right, this dude's in a match where if he wins it, he's staying on SmackDown anyways. We don't want to invest serious draft capital in AJ Styles, this is from Raw's perspective, in him if we might get a show out of him and then he's going to be right back on SmackDown. That's how I explained to myself. It wasn't explained on TV that way. To myself, why AJ fell so low. You can use that same logic for Jey Uso, and Raw could have picked somebody else first overall for their brand.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you have Seth Rollins, who's out injured.
Well, that's the thing about Raw is that, like, for your first two picks, you got guys who have been around for, like, that's why I love the SmackDown picks. Because I was like, oh, my God. Number one, that first and foremost, what really hit me was Carmelo going, like, the number one dude on SmackDown. You know, Bianca was number one overall, makes all the sense in the world. All the sense in the world. Mm-hmm. And then Raw gets Jey, and SmackDown picks up a guy who's going to be main eventing WrestleMania after WrestleMania after WrestleMania potentially. He's got the ingredients. This was, and I was very happy to see, this was Finn Balor in 2016.
Yeah. Yep.
Where it's like, oh shit, you are going to bet big on Carmelo Hayes. So that I thought was a really, really cool move to kick things off. I thought that was totally awesome. And then Seth's kind of been there, done everything. I understand he's a top WrestleMania main event guy. Just did a killer run as champion, but he's also like super banged up. So it's like, man, Raw, go with Braun Breaker right there. Show us that you're planning for the future. Mm-hmm. And instead they go with Jey and Seth. So I don't know, man. I know there's something to be said about getting, I guess a Kevin Durant as opposed to going much younger. But yeah, I don't know. I thought Raw did a dog in sort of universe or whatever in kayfabe. Yeah. Did a dog shit job at the draft. And I thought SmackDown did all right at the draft. I don't know. I thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. By and large though, a lot of talents stayed on their brands. There's a larger draft pool, more rounds to the draft tonight on Raw, so maybe we'll see more.
The draft pool is way better tonight.
It is.
It's way deeper.
It is much deeper.
It is.
And for those who may not have heard or didn't hear after SmackDown, there were some other selections made after the show concluded. Cedric and Ashanti, the Adonis, Baron Corbin and the OC were all drafted to SmackDown. Alba Fire and Isla Dawn moving from SmackDown to Raw. Ivar, Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, all also drafted by Raw and staying on the same brand.
I like that, contrary to what we saw on SmackDown, Cedric Alexander is in a tag team with Ashanti the Adonis. I like that.
Yes.
Maybe he can, maybe people will forget about that Braun Breaker match.
Some actual real TV time instead of getting squashed by Braun in about 30 seconds.
And I love Baron going to SmackDown. He's done his time in NXT, and I know there was a report, I think, out of Fightful, that he's getting like a new look of some sort.
Yeah.
How would you rebrand Baron Corbin?
Oh, gosh. He's been through so many.
Yeah, he has been through quite a few.
You remember when Sammy Guevara used to come out with the panda get-up?
I do.
Do the same for Baron, but it's wolf. Because he is the lone wolf, after all. So his new gimmick is essentially Wolfman.
Does it look like cartoonish at all? Or is it like real?
It looks great.
That's okay. Not the most descriptive, but okay.
Just think in your mind, great wolf getup, and that's what you get. Just picture it in your mind.
I need to put that through the Photoshop AI generator here. Maybe I'll try that real quick. Yeah, I don't know. I like Baron. I'm really curious to see. Remember that time they did the McMahon shakeup and they blamed Baron Corbin?
Oh, they blamed him for everything. We were there for that.
That was so bad. It was so terrible. Dude,
was
I
awful.
thought he looked so cool when he had the balding hair.
Yeah, you like that phase.
I loved it. I'm looking at a picture of him right now. He looked so cool back then. You know, there's some dudes who can pull off like balding and long hair. There's some dudes who can pull that off, and I feel like he was one of them, man.
We'll have to agree to disagree on that one.
Fair enough. Fair enough. See if I can get this guy into a wolf
Oh,
costume.
Mr. Sinister says Corbin, give him a grill master gimmick.
You know, dude, I appreciate that the guy is good with his meat. That being said, I feel like that's a limited ceiling right there, man.
Let me ask you about this, because someone in chat before we started here was asking about Kiana James. She got the call up from NXT, and that's great.
Absolutely.
In the video package they rolled after her pick was announced, it was basically all footage, old footage, featuring her as her real estate investor gimmick in NXT.
Absolutely.
I don't know what the ceiling is for that kind of vocational gimmick on the main roster.
Yeah. Low.
Yeah.
Yeah. Low.
So
there's your answer.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was getting at.
that's your
And
concern.
I kind of feel like of late they were moving away from that in NXT.
That's what people have been telling us
to a degree.
Yeah.
And I would assume that's going to stay the case on the main roster because again, you got to think the ceiling for that particular gimmick not high.
Yeah, dude. I don't know about that one. I don't know. I get the feeling like I don't know how, like when that video package was made, if it's similar to something they had already had, like if they already had it, because I don't think they. Well, go ahead. You're gonna say something.
It was predominantly like the interview footage was because I remember some of those lines from that was shot back when we used to watch NXT initially.
I feel like they probably just cobbled together a bunch of video packages for a variety of people who might be called up. Yeah, I get look, this is me speculating. They're not going to roll with her as a developer.
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that. Like, I don't know. Tiffany Stratton's original thing was like, I'm spoiled rich person. And it seemed like they were going to lean into the, this is my gimmick. I'm a spoiled rich brat. And it's like that personality aspect of her is still there, but it's not like she ever talks about, oh, daddy's going to buy me a car kind of shit, you know?
Yeah. No,
so I don't know. I'm going to see if Photoshop will do this. So maybe I'll put on our social. Let's see here. Give me a good prompt for Baron Corbin for your idea.
Baron Corbin, best wolf costume. Great looking wolf costume.
Put a great looking wolf costume on this man. Generate. All right. We'll see what that comes up with. So yeah, Kiana James moved over. Kind of shocking that Odyssey Jones was not drafted to Raw again or moved to SmackDown.
Was he in tonight's draft pool?
Oh, was he in tonight's draft pool?
I
don't remember.
Or Raw's. I don't remember.
Forgot about the draft pool.
He's on one of them though.
Yeah. Curious to see where he ends up.
Does it look great?
Oh man. Yeah, kind of, dude. I'll be honest with you.
Here, take a picture. Send it to me. I want to see it.
All right. Let's see if I can. I'm going to get this thing up on our stream.
All right.
So you can just look at it, with everybody else. And then yeah, maybe for the audio crowd, I can put it on. Socials.
Some socials.
Yeah. So here we go, right here for the people who are watching this visual. Twitch. Yeah, Twitch is not going to get this.
Sorry, Twitch crowd.
Sorry, Twitch. You're going to go over to YouTube.
Apologies.
Here we go. Going in Rumble. There we go. I don't. Why did it? Wait, did it change his tattoos?
Oh, maybe.
Oh my God! It changed his tattoos.
It did. Wow.
And again, there's like some weird writing right here in the above the SmackDown logo.
It almost looks like it says "goat."
What? So it's interesting. The wolf has like kind of a Kane mask going.
Yeah. Notice that too.
Or like a Vader thing.
Yeah, that's interesting.
There we go. There we go.
Is
that sort of in line with what you were talking about?
Well, I was thinking more like, because Sammy had the it's like what you call it, like a cowl or something that went over his head, and so he had like the top jaw of the panda with the snout.
I was
the
hoping
eyes,
that
the
this would
ears.
do. Yeah, this would do that.
And I
but
was
it
thinking the
just-
same. But if they want to give him, if AI WB wants to give
Yeah.
Baron a full on wolf helmet, essentially,
Yeah,
like
right.
Jack Perry's scapegoat helmet,
Yeah.
then sure.
What happens if I do this here? Oh, that didn't really work. Okay. Yeah, so we'll continue to work on that one right there.
There we go. We'll workshop that some more.
A little bit.
Anyways, we can jump into SmackDown, and then anything else pops up, we can discuss. So the show opens up with Cody backstage. He's signing his autograph on some title belts. They're probably selling at the merch booth. We see AJ, Bianca, and Jade all walking through the arena. Then we see the war rooms for Raw and SmackDown. Some legends in each. Then we get a Paul Heyman interview. And Kayla asks him about the rumors regarding Roman Reigns, and he says, let me clarify something. These are not rumors about Roman Reigns. These are facts. Ladies and gentlemen, your tribal chief has voluntarily withdrawn from eligibility for the 2024 draft. This is not a negative. This is a positive. Who's built SmackDown since the pandemic? Roman Reigns. He goes on a little bit. He says, why would Roman hog the number one pick spotlight when he's not going to be returning in the immediate future? This is not what a real tribal chief would do, throwing some shade there at Solo. So the pressure is now on Nick Aldis, because if Roman isn't the first draft pick, who is? Whoever are the first two draft picks, they make history in a brand new era. I don't know about you, but me, I'm intrigued. So then Kayla throws to Jackie at the PC. She's there with basically all the NXT talent. Talks about, what a huge moment this is for NXT talent to potentially get drafted. And then instead of a first round of draft picks, we get a contract signing, a long contract signing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know they've made a point in previous programs with Cody about, in an official capacity, Dusty Rhodes mentoring so many wrestlers in WWE. Cody's not, again, in official capacity, Cody not being one of them. And that was touched on again here with AJ saying, because we have to go through the whole thing because there's a lot. AJ saying it was your dad who taught me how to carry myself as a champion and understand the weight of being champion. Cody, I look at you and I don't know if you can carry that weight.
Yeah. At some point, they got to stop talking about his damn dad all the time, man. Look, Dusty's a legend. We know that. Everybody loved him, I think, for the most part. But like, God, man, can we be done with everybody talking about how they knew Dusty and how Dusty, like, I know seemingly everybody learned from Dusty.
Yeah.
You got to get something different here.
Yeah.
You gotta grab onto something different. It didn't even really seem like, now at this point, why is AJ still bad guy?
I mean, he tried to distance himself from that. He's like, I don't like LA Knight. He annoyed me. That's why I was bad guy. I respect you, Cody. So he seemed to kind of drop some of the more heel tendencies, although he was still wearing the same gear. I don't know. And at the end, fast forward to the end, after Cody beats Carmelo Hayes, the main event, it's like he tries to sneak attack Cody. Cody spots him. AJ says, "Oh, I was really close to getting you there," and then shakes his hand.
Yeah.
But it's not like a menacing thing. Maybe that's what they're trying to go for. Is like, "Oh, I almost got you. Respect. I almost got you." But it wasn't menacing at all. It's kind of confusing.
Yeah, I feel like maybe they have to understand that the crowd doesn't really want to boo AJ. He's too much fun in the ring. He's built up too much goodwill with the fans over the years. It's like getting people to boo. I mean, they have been able to get him to boo because they put him against LA Knight. But
Yeah.
it's like trying to get
Yeah.
people to boo Randy. People aren't going to boo Randy Orton. Like, he can't be a bad guy. AJ just feels weird with him being a bad guy.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, like you said, this shit was pretty long. So Cody eventually signs a contract. AJ says, Cody, it's a beautiful thing to see you finish your story and get the title, but it's a shame that your title reign is going to end at Backlash. And then AJ shakes his hand. Cody picks up the title. He makes his way to the stage. And then as he's like halfway up the ramp, time to play the game. And Cody kind of freaks out a little bit. I'm pretty sure, because they say something, and I'm pretty sure Cody said something like, I half expect you to come out with a sledgehammer for me. And I thought I saw that when I was trying to read lips, but I'm not an expert lip reader. So anyways, Triple H said, let's go up to the podium over there. And then Cody seems, he's like, okay, cool, let's do that. Puts his title on the podium. And then we have round 1. Triple H says, tonight is the night that changes the landscape of WWE in the future. This year's draft is different because it's just as much about protecting the roster they have as it is picking the roster they want. They're going to play the game. And then he says, so he asked Cody to read SmackDown's pick, and he's like, I'm going to do the Raw pick. And so Cody announces Bianca Belair, number 1 pick overall for SmackDown. Raw selects Jey Uso. SmackDown selects Carmelo Hayes. Raw selects Seth Rollins. And then Melo's music hits. He comes out and says, when they talk about who's up next, or who's next up, when they talk about who's the hottest out, they don't call him the hottest out. They call him Carmelo Hayes. And Cody, and then the crowd starts chanting, whoop that trick. And Melo seems genuinely sort of charmed by that. And then he turns back to Cody. He says something like, oh, I did. And then he says, Cody, ever since you won that title, I've been hearing you say when you come for the king, you best not miss. That's funny how that works, because with me, when I shoot, I don't miss. As a first-round draft pick, I can't think of a better way to shoot my shot here on SmackDown than to shoot it against you. Cody says, fortune certainly favors the bold, but I don't know. You folks don't want to see me in action, do you? And they go, yeah, of course we do, Cody. And he says, what if I didn't remember my gear? And they're like, boo, Cody. And he's like, oh, that's right. I didn't forget my gear. And this right here for me means absolutely 100%. You're on.
Yep.
So we had that match later.
We did. Next, we got a different match. Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee teaming against Berto and Angel of Legado del Fantasma. So Dragon Lee ends up getting the win for his team. Rey hits a Rana on Berto, sends him out of the ring. Angel's looking for a backbreaker. Instead, Rey sends him to the ropes, tags in Lee. Rey hits a 619. Dragon Lee follows with Destino to get to the win. So the rest of the LWO, Vega, Carlito. I didn't notice Joaquin Wild was there. Cruz del Toro's injured. Is Joaquin Wild there?
Either. It's probably at the PC because they're just like in NXT all the time these
Could
days.
be. So they're celebrating, raising arms. Santos and Electra walk out. And Santos says, whoa, hold that celebration. I'm many things, but a liar I am not. When I said I did not attack Dragon Lee before WrestleMania, I meant it. Electra's been working to track down the security footage from that evening. And Rey, what you're about to see, you're going to find very interesting. So he throws the security cam footage on the Tron, and it's Carlito beating the hell out of Dragon Lee, leaving the scene, walking back in and calling for help.
And Carlito's face is just horrified as this is running. And then he proceeds to take out everybody. He pushes Dragon Lee into Rey, hits Dragon Lee with a backstabber, runs out of the ring. And I'm like, bro, you're twice the size of these guys. You could probably easily dispatch them right there. Why are you running away?
Yeah.
Oh, Carlito's my favorite. Yeah, this was great, man. I was hoping that he would be like, no, it's not me. It's another Carlito. Carlito Segundo.
Yeah. Nope.
But no, he bolted, man. He panicked, easily took care of the LWO, and then ran out of there.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. Then we get a really quick match here. Braun Breaker defeats Cedric Alexander in about, 30, 45 seconds, something like that.
Yeah, they couldn't have found somebody else to take this L. Come on, Cedric's in a tag team with Ashanti. Let's respect that.
Exactly. So Cedric's looking for a handspring. Braun just hits him with a spear. And then there's another Uncle Howdy tease that rolls during the replay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then we get Nick Aldis. He's walking out of his office. Tiffany Stratton walks up to him, and she says, Nick, you see what I did last week? Of course you did, because I'm the center of the universe. I dropped Naomi and Bailey. Where's my title match? And Aldis says, you see this watch? He points to his own watch. It's not set to Tiffy time. You know what, Tiffany? I was close to sending you to the back of the line, but then someone convinced me otherwise. So tonight, you're going to go one-on-one with Naomi again. The winner gets a title match at Backlash. Tiffany asks, whose idea was that? Bailey steps in and says, ding dong, that would be me. And she pretty much says, this is great. Naomi wins. She gets the title match she was cheated out of. If you win, you'll find out what it's like when you attack the role model. And then Tiffany goes, I had a Tiffany epiphany. What if you sit ringside front row and watch me do what you couldn't do, and that's beat Naomi.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Then we had Michelle McCool and Tori Wilson come out to announce the round 2 picks. SmackDown selects Randy Orton. There you go. Thank you. Raw selects Braun Breaker. Yeah. SmackDown selects Nia Jax, Moving Brands.
Yeah,
I thought that was a good pick.
it was.
And then Raw, again, select Liv Morgan.
Watch me.
Watch me. Ball drop.
Watch me.
This was great. After that, we have Heyman outside. An SUV shows up. And then, you see, a light pop on in the back of this thing, and it's just Tama Tonga's creep-ass face. It's like Wayne Maker's first match at video.
Yeah.
It's just him staring. It's like the most boring car ride ever. So Solo gets out. Wise man, Bloodline's not drafted, right? And he said the Bloodline's drafted, right? And Heyman's like, well, not exactly, not yet. And Solo's like, come on, give me all the details. And Heyman's like, because he's expecting me drafted. And Heyman says, well, here's the deal, man. Roman Reigns withdrew from the draft right before the show began. With all due respect, you suck now. He says you're adding new members. Nobody knows what they're getting in the draft when they draft the Bloodline. And I'm thinking to myself, Solo, you're 0-34 since you beat John Cena. You've been losing to LA Knight on the house show circuit. And Tama Tonga is the only guy in your crew right now.
Yeah.
What this is you order, I don't know, a Fiesta pack from Del Taco, and you get one cheeseburger and a turd in there instead of 6 grilled chicken tacos and a bunch of bean burritos. And I'm only bringing that up because I did that this weekend.
Well, you got the Fiesta pack and you got a hamburger in there?
No, I got the full thing, but it's as if.
Okay, gotcha.
You order one thing, you expect to get Roman Reigns and the Usos. No, you get Solo and Tama Tonga.
Who's been positioned as a threat, but unproven in the ring. I understand. So Solo looks over his shoulder as Tama Tonga leaves the car and walks up and says to Heyman, wise man, I need you to repeat that one more time for me. So before Heyman can do that, in the background, you see Kevin Owens charging forward. He lays out Tama Tonga. They start brawling. The rest of security come out to break that up.
Yeah, man. Oh, I was cracking up. Solo thinks he's going to get drafted high just based off the name value alone.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Roman's gone, man. Roman's gone. You ain't it.
Maybe he's hoping no one would recognize. Oh, Bloodline.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Bloodline's a bloodline. Same bloodline.
I don't know. I would have put it past Pierce. Oh, Bloodline. They're still available. Take the Bloodline. Dude,
exactly.
Roman's not in it.
All this does is homework.
Yeah. Anyways, after that, we had a Bianca Belair interview. Kayla asked her how satisfying it's going to be to beat Asuka and Kyrie. This happened on the stage. And she's like, so satisfying. I really hope Jade is drafted to SmackDown on Monday because I've had a lot of history with Damage Control. And while I've had a lot of amazing women fight alongside me, I've never been the one to finally end it with Damage Control for everything they've done to me into this division. Jade is the perfect person to help me do that. Now Damage Control is falling apart piece by piece, and that final piece are those tag team titles. So once Jade and I take those titles at Backlash, the Kabuki Warriors won't even have a reason to show back up on SmackDown. That brings out the Kabuki Warriors. They walk to the stage across from Bianca and talk all sorts of shit. That brings out Jade. They all talk shit. And in the background, Kevin Owens and Tama Tonga brawl. They basically split them, come down the ramp. The big melee breaks out here in the ring. Security comes in. Tama fights them off. Randy Orton's music hits. He comes to the ring, takes out Tama and Solo, looks for an RKO on Solo. Solo rolls out of the ring. Orton checks on Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens gives him a hug, then rolls out of the ring to go after the Bloodline. Security keeps them apart.
Yep. Then we get Devon and Bubba Ray coming out to announce the picks for round 3. They are as follows. First pick, third round. SmackDown takes LA Knight.
Yeah.
Second pick, round 3. Raw selects Ricochet.
No. Spoiler alert. You're a new speed champion.
Yeah.
You see what that belt looks like?
Yeah.
It's not great.
No. Third pick, third round. SmackDown selects Bloodline. Fourth pick, third round. Raw selects Sheamus. After that, we get Tiffany Stratton taking on Naomi. This was a fun match until Nia Jax messes it up. So Bayley's on commentary. Naomi hits Tiffany with the enziguri and then rams Stratton to the corner. That's when Nia comes out and lays out Bayley at commentary. So while that's going on, Naomi's looking for a split leg moonsault. Tiffany rolls out of the ring and Naomi recognizes, oh, shoot, Bayley's getting attacked. So she goes out to help her. Nia rams Naomi into the ring post, goes back, lays out Bailey some more. So Nia's content with the chaos she's caused, leaves. Tiffany puts Naomi and Bailey back in the ring and hits them both with a moonsault.
Mm-hmm. That sort of leaves the match up in the air.
Yeah.
After that, we got the Street Profits and B-Fab backstage. They're waiting around for Bobby Lashley. Saxon walks asks them about their tag title match next week. B-Fab says it doesn't even matter where we get drafted because next week Street Profits are going to take down A-Town Down Under for those tag titles. They're going to have a first-class ticket back to SmackDown. That brings out Theory and Walla. Theory says, SmackDown? You can't have SmackDown without the greatest undefeated tag champs of all time. Waller says, hey, Dawkins, these are championships, something the Bengals don't know nothing about. And then Happy Lashley walks in and sort of, hugs them both. It's like, hey, guys, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then Theory and Waller get freaked out and run away. And that crowd popped big for Lashley just showing up like that.
Everybody loves Bobby Lashley.
Everybody loves Bobby Lashley.
So then next we got this bit was cool. So backstage you got Karrion Kross and Scarlett, and Karrion Kross has got a hold of the camera person, saying, "Come with me. You got to see this." And he brings the camera person to the AOP, laying out New Catch Republic, and he says, "No matter where we get drafted, the violence will continue until we get what we want."
Yeah, man.
I always like the bits where someone says, "Hey, camera person, come here and check this out."
I know, because it's motivated.
It is like Batista did it when he attacked Ric Flair. That was
really cool. Yeah, it's not just like
it's just
random people backstage, and there shouldn't be. This is a conversation that should not be recorded, and yet there's just a cameraman right there.
I know.
After that, we had JBL and Teddy Long announce the round 4 picks. SmackDown selects AJ Styles. Raw selects the Alpha Academy. SmackDown selects Andrade. And then so you give me the A and A with your face here.
Oh, the Alpha Academy pick's terrible. They're falling apart. Why would you draft them?
Good point. SmackDown selects Andrade.
Good pick.
Good pick. Raw selects Kiana James.
Good pick.
Pick for the future.
Indeed.
We got a video package of Kiana James and then an interview with Kiana James there at Performance Center. Jackie asks how much does drafting mean to her, and she basically says a lot. And then she's like, were you surprised? And say, yep. And then HBK walks up, whispers something to her. He said, you think I'm cute? No, I'm sexy.
He probably says, your real estate investor gimmick staying in NXT.
Yeah. He's like, they're really going to screw me on Monday, aren't they?
They're going to draft all my champions.
They're going to draft Trick Williams. Bet.
So we got Nick Aldis interview. So Kayla asks, how you feeling about your draft picks? He says, I'm feeling very good about our selections. Our future is bright. I can't wait for our new recruits to step up and show out for the blue brand. We're going to turn our attention in a moment for Backlash. He announces 2 more matches. Triple threat for the women's title. Tiffany versus Bailey versus Naomi. He says there's one more match, but I'm going to let the GOAT take care of this one. So Teddy Long steps in, announces Bloodline versus Kevin Owens and Randall Keith Orton for Backlash as well.
Mm-hmm. Then we had our main event, Carmelo Hayes. Oh, by the way, it was also announced that we're getting a triple threat for the women's title at Backlash.
I did mention that.
Oh, you did mention that? Right.
I did mention that.
Then we had Carmelo Hayes versus Cody Rhodes for the main event. I saw the big clip on Twitter going around, the ill-timed Cody
There was
Cutter.
a miscommunication or something.
That shit, you know what that is? That just is probably not easy to do. Because, you got to think about that, man. How precise do you have to time that thing? Where you run both sides, opposite sides, and then you have to collide in the middle. Kind of like with no
But
look,
it led
too,
directly to the finish because Cody, sells shoulder for a bit, picks up Mello and hits a crossroad. So whatever that was supposed to be was supposed to happen or lead right to the finish. So was Cody supposed to counter Mello's springboard with the Cody cutter?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's supposed to
the
be
timing was off.
Snatch him out of midair. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's a tough spot.
Look, WWE is not where the best wrestle. That's AEW.
That's
They
AEW.
would have landed this in AEW.
It was a good match, though. It was a good match.
Yeah,
a good
no,
showing
it
for
was an
Mello.
awesome match. That sort of moment overshadowed what was a really, really good match and a
Yeah.
great showcase for Carmelo. And I loved in the end when Cody when Cody won. Cody helps up Mello, chats with him a little bit. And you see, they did a great shot of Mello just sort of sitting there and stewing over this. So I don't know, man. I hope they give this guy a big push. Maybe he could be the guy to take that U.S. title off of Logan Paul. You know,
could be. So then, as mentioned, Cody's posing with the title. AJ tries to attack him from behind. Cody spots him. They have a bit of a stare down, and that's when AJ goes, "Oh, I was this close to getting you." And then they shake hands. It all seems very friendly. It seems to be personal. Like I need to care about who wins.
Yeah.
Right now, I don't.
Yeah. Right.
You want to talk about Raw? There's
I
a Raw
just want
tonight.
like a good match. I just want like a good because like
we're gonna get a good match.
Here's the thing. I know who's gonna win. That's the thing.
Yeah, I know. But right now, I have no reason to care about AJ Styles losing.
Yeah, because he's sort of like sort of
Just
like
seems like a mere formality at this juncture.
In flux. Yeah, exactly.
We got a Raw preview, of course. Draft continues on Raw. Give me one name of somebody who's going to switch brands or a call-up.
Triple H. Bret the Hitman Horse.
You're not a serious person. Logan Paul's going to be on Raw, even though he's a SmackDown superstar. Is this some foreshadowing of the mid-card title switching brands?
I don't think they're allowed to. I think that's included in the champion stay.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Never mind then. That's weird. Why is he on Raw then?
Oh, probably to promote that SummerSlam's in Cleveland.
They did say...
Didn't they just to make that official announcement? I saw a Triple H video.
Oh, they announced the tickets were going on sale soon.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
Logan Paul announced the official announcement.
That's right. He did on the Impulsive.
They said rosters will be final, on...
Not till May 6th or something.
That means
like
there
May
could be
7th.
some trades. Maybe we'll have a Logan Paul for Sami Zayn trade.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me think. Who's prominent on I doubt no, they're not gonna do that. No, they're not gonna do that. Drew is gonna stay on Raw.
Yeah, he's also out hurt too.
He just re-signed.
Good for him. Hopefully he got a massive raise.
Yeah, you see the little video?
Mm-hmm.
The Rock sent him a sword.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think what other big movements there can be. Legato, it's Legato or the LWO. Somebody's got to go. Somebody's got to change.
Probably Legato because LWO's got a feud with Carlito now.
Yeah, right.
You'd think. Also on Raw, Jey Uso teams with Ricochet and Andrade to take on Judgment Day.
All of Judgment Day?
Yeah, I guess so. Finn, Dom, and JD.
Oh, Jey Uso. Oh, them. Okay, Jey Uso and Ricochet and Andrade. Okay.
Not Priest. Priest is champion. He's not going to be in a 6-man tag match.
One and only.
When
is the final for that? When does Ricochet win the Speed title? Is it this week? I think it's every Wednesday they have it.
That could be.
Little tiny 3-minute matches.
Yeah. You want to answer some questions?
I have a question.
What?
If somebody doesn't, if there can't be a finish at the end of a Speed match, what happens?
I assume it's a no contest.
I feel like half the matches would be no contest. I
know. Like if you can win a match in 3 minutes on the Speed show, why don't you just do it in a regular match?
Shouldn't Ricochet end up being Universal Champion?
That's my point. That's kind of like the weakness of the whole Speed idea. It's like, all right, you can win these matches in 3 minutes. Why can't you do that against anybody?
John Hosey says sudden death. That's just a match.
Yeah.
That's just more match. It sort of defeats the purpose of Speed.
Does it go to judges?
Yeah. That's what it should do. You get some of the fastest wrestlers. You bring back Leo Rush just to be a judge.
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio could be a judge. He was really fast.
He was really fast.
Nathan Frazier and Axiom.
There you go.
Oh, and Braun Breaker.
Breaker, yeah.
There's your judges.
4-3-8-40, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's go ahead and answer some questions. I'm sure
before we do that,
great questions.
We only got 177 likes. You got 776 people watching. If you could, please hit that like button. We're going to get at least over 200, but ideally about 50%. So we got a long way to go before we're 50%. So
on one end, I think it's great that we've got so many people watching. Ever since WrestleMania, we've had a lot of people, join us for these live streams, and it's so great. On the other hand, it's like they don't understand what the like button is and what it does for us.
It does good things.
Serotonin, endorphins, rush. Adrenaline.
Yeah, a rush of those things.
Yeah, just like I see those likes zoom up, and I'm feeling like top of the world.
Yeah.
You know, I'm starving right now. I want some food.
Yeah, I'm hungry too.
But one thing that can feed me, at least in
Likes.
terms of my pleasure center, is
Yeah.
likes.
See, likes don't have any actually calories in them, so you can't actually use those to to provide energy for your body.
There's no fuel.
But they can provide fuel for the soul.
Exactly. Yeah. Here we go. Dr. Howie says if Freddie Prinze Jr. gets his Lucha Underground style going, name one talent from AEW and WWE you'd like to head over.
Oh, Taurus. The Beast Mortis.
Beast Mortis. Yeah.
He's great.
That's good.
I don't know how much. Is he actually signed to AEW? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But make him the centerpiece of your promotion, Freddie Prinze Jr.
Oh, wow.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he's pretty cool, man. He's pretty cool.
Brian Green says, I'm doing a project on NASCAR. So this is for educational purposes, this question. I want to see if you guys can name any current drivers in the sport. I could probably name more than Steve. Can you name one?
Absolutely. Can I name one?
Yeah.
Hold on. Is Richard Petty still racing?
No, not currently, no. Kyle Larson, Jimmy Johnson. I'm not going to name a bunch. Is Dale Earnhardt Jr. still racing? Or did he quit?
The fuck do I know? I don't even know one.
Is Dick Trickle still racing?
Is that a real person?
Yeah, he used to be a real NASCAR driver, Dick Trickle.
That's kind of awesome. That's great.
I know.
Jacques Girard.
That's from Ricky Bobby, isn't it?
Ricky Bobby.
Yeah, Ricky Bobby.
I do appreciate that you know the Jacques Girard reference.
Tom Cruise character in Days of Thunder. Chris Stanton
Shake
says...
and bake, baby. Cal. What was Cal's last name?
I don't remember.
Forgot his name.
Chris Stanton says, grammar question. You guys say aughts to refer to 2000, 2009. I'm 42. I've never heard this term. Is this a West Coast thing? No, I thought it was...
What else do you refer to? I guess some people might refer to it as the 2000s.
Yeah, but it was
Aughts
when
is
it
a
was like
fairly
the dawn of the
common term.
2000s. I heard them referring it to as the aughts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Martin Coven.
Coven.
Since mythological creatures are on titles are all the rage these days, which titles should feature other mythological beasts and creatures?
Oh, hold on a second. This is a good one. I gotta let my dumb dog out.
Let me think here. Definitely something with like a Sasquatch on it. What title should have a Sasquatch on it? Oh, Metal Nurse says Mothman. What if the the IWGP World Heavyweight title kind of has like a winged shape to it?
Oh, yeah, dude. That could be a Mothman title.
Mothman.
That's a good one. Dogman. Remember Dogman? Wasn't Patrick Sparks obsessed with Dogman for a period?
Yeah, B-Man loved Dogman.
There's that picture of like a stairway that went down to a basement.
Stairs,
yeah. Damn it. Now she's asking to go outside. I want to make sure my dog doesn't crap in my house, so I'll be right back.
That. I get it. Nikau says, WWE parts ways with Def Rebels. What 5 wrestling theme songs would you keep on TV? Oof. You'd have to keep Sass because people sing along to it. To be fair, Def Rebel, I know a lot of their stuff kind of sounds the same, but there's a few that are decent. I can't remember many of them right now, though. Alex Foster here says, if you guys were in the draft war room, what would you be shown doing on camera while everyone else is working? I'll probably be on my phone playing the New York Times game, specifically. What is this one called? Letterboxd? Yeah, Letterboxd.
Man.
Letterboxd.
Anyways, what's up next?
Did you do your New York Times connections today, Steve?
No, I've been sort of hit or miss on that lately.
Oh, they've been heck easy of late.
I think I got yesterday's or the day before like down pretty easy. Let's see here. Mad Genius says, what wrestler is in the most need of a character change across the brands?
Anybody who's got a vocational gimmick in NXT that's coming to main roster.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Braun Breaker.
He doesn't really have a gimmick right now.
He needs a character. He needs a gimmick. He needs something.
A good 40 time is not a character.
No, it's not.
DLC85 here says, has AEW proven that amazing, great wrestling isn't enough anymore? That's good stories and characters need to build to matches.
Yeah, that's where the best wrestle.
It's where the best wrestle.
You know, they've proven that all they need is the best wrestle.
Sicilian Crest here says nothing about the draft makes any sense whatsoever. Would you ditch it or redesign it?
Well, I don't agree
Redesign
with
it.
the premise.
What's that?
I think there's plenty of the draft that makes sense. I'm not going to say nothing about the draft makes any sense.
Yeah, but there's a lot that doesn't make sense about it. There's aspects of it that don't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not so much. Sorry, go ahead.
Dope mentions DIY for people who need a gimmick change.
Yes.
Desperately.
Yeah, Ciampa needs to turn on Gargano and quick. I know they want to make it feel more like a actual sports draft. And if you're going to do that, you need to be able to trade draft picks. They need to have matches for some reason, whatever the case may be, to determine something as it relates to the draft. Because it feels like the draft is kind of shoehorned into episodes of Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
And why did Cody and AJ Styles have a contract signing this week only to have a face-to-face next week?
Oh, yeah, I know. That's weird.
Like they're doing the same segment twice. Why?
They were face-to-face. It's for AJ to do a bad guy thing.
Yeah, I guess
so. Why Brownie says, well, today being the 25th anniversary of SmackDown, what are some of your guys' favorite SmackDown moments?
It was on SmackDown where Roman and Drew had that contract signing that was really good because they weren't mic'd up.
That was SmackDown.
That was really good.
Triple H manning the camera on that first pandemic SmackDown.
Yeah. Oh, John Chambers has it right. Second Rowan.
Second Rowan is an all-time SmackDown moment. Yeah, that's good. When LA Knight choked on his gum.
Yeah, there we go.
That was an all-time SmackDown moment. Dope says when Big Show pushed the car in Hardcore Holly. The look of panic on LA Knight's face. You know, I am so glad that Vince McMahon is gone. So glad.
Yeah.
That being said, I kind of wish, just for that sliver of time, that somebody would have had, if he was in charge during that LA Knight gum promo.
Yeah.
If somebody could have gotten his reaction.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
Because LA Knight would not be in the company right now.
Probably not.
If that shit happened on his watch. Oh, he would have exploded. He would have absolutely exploded.
Blake Whitehouse here says, what is the greatest draft pick in WWE history?
Oh, I don't know. Probably, like, didn't they do a thing where, like, Triple H got drafted, and in the same episode, he got drafted back?
Yeah. Oh, he got traded. Because they realized
was that what it
the
was?
rosters
Yeah.
were imbalanced. Yeah.
Yeah. Odyssey Jones to Raw. It's Odyssey Jones to Raw.
Yeah.
That's the best draft pick in history.
Yeah.
Zion Quinn to the supplemental draft. Oh, man. Oh, that's too much.
Oof.
Let's see here. Ty, I love this question. If you didn't have to sleep or eat ever again, which one would you choose? If I was super well rested without having to sleep ever, then it would be, I wouldn't, no sleep. I get so much more work done. I'd get so much more things done. And then on top of that, like, you still get to eat. I would never want to not eat again.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Food's awesome. Like, if I could not sleep but still be energetic and rested every day, that'd be an upgrade from my current state of being.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So, yeah, give me food. I'll take the food, please.
Joe the Meme Maker, if a wrestler had to revert back to an old gimmick of theirs, who would you choose and who would benefit in the current wrestling landscape? Easy. It's Baron Corbin. He'd grow his hair out again, and he'd be wearing like the wasteland stuff.
But he'd have to be off TV for a while. You want on the air where his hair is like 1.5 to 2 inches long. You'd have to be off TV for months.
It'd be that awkward, like super, and it would take forever. It'd be like that awkward in-between phase. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know what you do with the guy who's like, he's got no because he doesn't have facial hair either. Like he can grow up. I've seen he's grow a beard. Like maybe have him grow a beard. Like I'm thinking if we don't do the wolf head thing, like I like getting back to him. Like how do you rebrand this guy? He's like a good looking guy. He's got a good bald head.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know I don't know really what you do.
I don't know either.
I think he had a cool look back. Like I know we differ on the balding long hair thing, but like. I think it was a cool look. I think the wasteland thing was kind of cool, but I don't know if it works on a guy who just has like a perfectly shaven head. Because he looks very clean now, you know?
Yeah, I know. I know what you mean. Yeah, I don't know. What if he grew a really thick beard but kept the bald head?
I think that'd be cool. It'd be interesting. It's different.
Yeah.
You know, you see that a lot, and dudes lose their hair up here. They do the thing. Oh man, boy, that was funny. David says, with TK giving his neck brace to charity, what other wrestling memorabilia do you see benefiting a greater cause?
I mean, I suppose anything that's relatively well known, put up for auction for
like a milk carton used in the brawl between Stone Cold and Booker T.
That'd be good.
There you go.
That'd be good.
That's a good one.
Mr. Sinister says LA Knight's gum.
Yeah, LA Knight's gum. That'd be a good one. Yeah. Blind Mass says, what is the point of Aldis and Pierce having bidding wars for free agents like they did months ago just to have them draft them for seemingly free?
It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, that was a point you made. I feel like there can be some sort of written logic in that. Teams sign people and trade them, you know. It happens. What are the Suns going to do? I didn't realize how much money Bradley Beal was making.
And a no trade clause.
Oh my God.
That he apparently refused to waive when he got traded to the Suns.
It's like $50 million a year. I didn't even know they did contracts that big.
Yep, that's your max deal.
Wow.
With bird rights, I believe, yeah.
That is huge.
The Rock says, member for 7 months, says the draft pool for the SmackDown episode should have been the SmackDown roster and start the night after Mania. Yeah. There's a lot of ways you can go about with approaching the draft differently from the details. Yeah. I just don't feel like there's a whole lot of excitement.
Yeah.
It's not an exciting endeavor. Drafts should be exciting.
They should be exciting. Yeah. And I wonder if like some of it is, okay, we're going to make a lot of moves on Raw, but people are going to tune in for the draft on SmackDown. So we're just going to do that, not make a lot of big moves, but they'll tune in for it because of the draft and they'll just bitch about it, but then we'll make it up on Raw.
Maybe.
Because I don't know how they could look at that and be like, oh, wow, we did great.
What a great 2-hour episode of TV.
You can try to sell us on the whole, even when they stay on brands, it's exciting. Sorry, dude, it's not.
It's not.
But
even if you're going to do that, there's ways to approach it to make the whole endeavor more exciting. And I just don't feel like they put any thought into it beyond we're gonna try to formulate our version of an actual sports draft rather than having the whole episode be intricately involved in how the draft happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. DP says Beal gets $50 million and Steve would scrape him in a 1v1. I appreciate the confidence. Did you see him like shoosh away Vogel's?
Yeah.
Oh wow. When you're worth $50 million a year, you could do that. Mm-hmm. Dude, go into a locker room, start yelling at you.
Guess what? If one of them's got to leave the team, guess who it is?
Oh, it ain't gonna
Bradley
be Beal. Oh man. Anyway, I love the NBA. It's so awesome.
Oh, it's great.
Anyways, that's going to do it for the show today. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. I got Hilton in the wall telling me to wrap it up, and I got to listen to that guy. This coming Saturday in Pacheco, California. What is it called? This is the Way. Action Coast Wrestling. If you want hot indie action, then go check that out. Unfortunately, we have confirmed not even a Hilton lookalike is going to be there.
The disappointments just continue.
But awesome pro wrestling will be there.
Great pro wrestling will be had at This Is The Way. ACW presents This Is The Way coming up this Saturday. Tickets are on Eventbrite, yeah?
You got that right. Anyways, that's going to do it for the show. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll see you around.
Goodbye.